For the love of God, shut up!
You know, you can turn the sound off.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's a button right here.
Where?
Right there. Sound off. We are back at the job this morning and we're marking out the footing outline with flour on the ground. You can see the guys here have a pretty good system of using the tape here to mark 7 inches outside and for most of it 17 inches in. So we did wait because of the rain, and you can see the bottom of the footing. If we would have dug them on Thursday, would have been that, which would have been not very good for building a house on. Yo, guy,
Come on, man, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's get this done.
That's flour, by the way, I hope. We like using this flour because it's just so much more visible to me than marking paint, and it's cheaper.
That is where the garage ends.
Okay.
It's this portion. It's basically 24 feet, 12 and 11 and change. And that beam is going to carry the end of the slab, and we're going to transition to framing here for the house main floor. The footing on this side and this side are the main load-bearing footings for the beams that go across here.
Yep. And
transfer that weight from the slab down to the foundation. The footings have to be wider here to carry more load. 36 inches wide.
What are you gonna do right here?
Punt.
Is 5 foot enough for you?
I was gonna do 5.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna step off this pin 5 feet. That's enough for him to get around with the excavator and not run it over. So go ahead and drive it right on the side of that string line, Max. Go on this side like the rest of the pins. Okay. So we know that's in line with this line and it's 5 feet from the structure. We'll do another one 5 feet at that end. Then we can pull our string line back after this is dug and get our points back on the footing. We do prefer to just use these reference pins instead of batter boards if we have a nice flat site like this. But if it was on a slope or something, I think batter boards would definitely be more effective.
Before we start digging, we have to know how deep we're gonna dig, and we want a 12-inch deep footing, so we're gonna find the lowest point on this flat site and go 12 inches from there. So it may be, 14 or so inches deep in some higher spots. We're gonna use our GeoMax laser level here, and what I'm doing is just bobbing the reader up and down here, and then I can lean it to get lower, and I can tell that this is just a fuzz high.
Yeah, and I set that stick to like right there at that first corner, so.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna check maybe in 10 different places to get a consensus of this surface, and then pick our low spot and go from there.
I might be crazy, but I think the puddle is probably at the low spot.
Well, if you think about it, that might actually make sense here. So.
Up.
Okay, so yeah, it's low, about 2 inches.
So let's set the reader right there.
So I'm gonna raise it up until it's on, right?
Yep.
And I gotta get across this here.
See what number that is, and then we'll do it a foot from there. All right, what's your number?
All right, we are at 3 foot and 10.
Okay, we need to raise it up another foot.
Yep.
The code around here for our frost line is the bottom of the footing has to be a foot below grade, and that's a lot less than it is like up north. It's like 4 feet or something, but it never really freezes here. It's the south. That's a lot of string. My dad would have tried to save that, make us untie it.
I was really surprised you said just get rid of it.
Definitely get rid of it.
We always try to save it. We told Ace that he had to tie it all back together.
Yeah, sorry about that, Max. We're taking one last look at our drawing here, and it's pretty weird. They have the slab poured right on top of the footings, which normally we don't do because normally you need an 8-inch header block on the daylighted sides on top of the footing, as a minimum. You can't get like a 4-inch header block, and really you want to be out of the ground 8 inches with your framing minimum. Like 6 inches I think is code. So I think we're not going to do this. I think we're just going to do the gravel and the slab on top of the footings. You'll lose 4 inches of headroom inside, but we can gain that back with some extra plates on top if we need to. But that's gonna really complicate things, having to step the footing down 4 inches everywhere it's daylighted out here on the front. And then you end up only 4 inches out of the ground.
Nobody does that.
I don't know, it's kind of weird. Jason's busting Max. I think you called me sir one time.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
I said yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. This corner should be the hardest to dig. It's rock back here. The rest should be good digging, but he's getting it. That's a nice big machine.
It is pretty big. It's way bigger than what we would normally use. 12,000 pound machine.
Yeah, that makes a difference. Jamie's still thinking about this slab height thing, and they do slab on grade like 4 inches off the ground in a lot of places, but I think they have a cementitious surface on the outside, like there's no wood siding, right?
I think so. Like, you know, like if you walk into a commercial building, you don't go up steps a lot of times. You just walk straight in, flat, flush. And the siding is not like, it's not a wood frame building with like wood siding that can't get so close to the ground because of moisture and termites and things like that.
Like a Walmart, it's all CMU right down to into the ground.
It is. So I imagine that a lot of places that's the norm, and you can put the slab really low to the ground because you're not factoring in having to have the siding higher off the ground like we are always doing here. It seems like we're always using a finished material that can't touch the ground. It's in the code book here.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking,
He was
considering it, you know, and thinking about the possibilities and why we do what we do, right?
Now you could do a little stem wall, like 2 foot out of the ground, and have the slab like only 4 inches out of the ground.
You could.
He did an actual raised stem wall around the whole front daylighted part, but we're not doing that.
You totally could if you like nailing your baseboard into concrete.
Yeah.
Then that would be fine.
How's it going?
It's pretty tough digging. Pretty tough.
It's a little hard, Daddy-o.
I don't think you can say that.
Definitely can't say that.
You can see some of these piers here. This is actually on the front porch of the entrance, and that is on the upper level that we don't even have built yet on the grade. So we're gonna ignore everything on this front side of the house and only focus on these down here on the back where we're at the lower level. These are 12 by 24 inch columns, and you can see the footing appears to be oversized about 6 inches in every direction. And that pretty much looks the same for each of these, with the exception of some 8x8s that are under the deck and actually a little more hidden, not so much a feature of the house. Like this is an architectural feature. They don't need to be this big, these columns. It's just for looks. So these under here are different. They have a very small footing. It says 18-inch round. And I don't know if we're gonna do that now. I don't think we're gonna do round.
It's interesting. It looks like these columns are framed like a miniature house, like 2x4 construction.
I believe it is.
Interesting.
I think that's what we're gonna do.
I've never done that.
I have not either. We're gonna have to really get nerdy about that and see what is
On the plan, they do look crazy big, like
I
on
know.
the perspective drawings.
I thought when I first saw the drawing of this house, I was worried because I saw these huge spans and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And then these giant columns, they looked like concrete on the rendering that I saw. I'm thinking, are we gonna pour these giant concrete columns?
No.
That would be nuts. I mean, it'd be cool though,
Yeah.
actually. I
Yeah.
kind of like the idea of it. But no, the design is just a 2x4 wooden frame and you put siding on it.
Perfect.
Like a wall. So I'll tell you that the thing about it though that I think about the most at night when I'm in my bed sleeping is that they're going to intersect the deck, and somehow we have to pass that through the deck framing.
Yeah.
And it all has to be flashed so that water doesn't get down inside that column.
Well, we should do it all pressure treated framing.
Yeah, for sure. The column itself is right here. Now The plan calls for a 24, which would simply be 6 past. Is that right? Or only, no.
Yeah, 6.
Well, I drew it a little
You think
wide.
we should make it wider?
I would go a little
I mean, that's,
bigger.
yeah, let's just mark it wider. I don't like that.
Let's go like,
Let's go like at least 30. All that looking at the plan, we just change it immediately. Just do whatever.
always go bigger. You just can't go smaller.
Okay. This furthest left deck pier is pretty close to the edge, pretty close to the bank. It's just like 50 foot off of here. I want to say though that the soil has been compacted and engineered and all that. But Jamie had a good idea, I think, to make it not want to ever creep away from the house potentially and go down the hill just over time.
As an added safety measure, I thought it'd be great if it had like a giant dead man leg, which would be connected to the footing of the house. So there's gonna be steel that will run continuous and tie into this one pier. It's the only one we're gonna do. All the rest of them fall so far inward on this pad that I'm not worried about them. And I think it's just a good precaution.
Hey Max, I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to get used to how Jamie sprawls out and completely blocks the road with his doors.
Man spread.
He just does that. He keeps them all open all day, every day. I don't know what it is.
You don't need to know what it is.
Today's video is brought to you by GeoMax Positioning, and they make this instrument that we're using today to get all of our grade pins perfectly level, which is really important. This is an outdoor laser. It's a rotary, which means it spins a laser beam, and it goes, I think, 3,000 feet. We're working at about 100 feet here, and this thing is at about 1/16 of an inch accuracy at that 100 feet. So that is awesome. You really need one of these if you're gonna get a house level. It's what it's for. So this model is great, the Zone 40T, because it's one button operation. All you do is press the one button, the machine turns on, auto levels, and then it starts rotating and shooting the laser. Then you just turn on your reader and you're working. It's awesome. We also have another unit that has a lot more features, the Zone 60DG, and this will allow you to shoot grade out of level, like if you want to do some drainage or do a driveway and have it be one pitch at a certain degree. And also has beam masking so that you can turn off certain sections so the laser beams don't shine out those if you're working, say, in a public area. It also has a remote. All I gotta say is these things are awesome. They have been very durable, very accurate, and easy to use for us. So if you're looking to get a rotary laser, check out the link in our video description below the video. It'll take you where you need to go. Thank you, GeoMax, for sponsoring our video. Let's get back to work. Looking good. It's like he's a professional operator or something.
Yeah, he kind of knows what he's doing. It's a little bit different.
He did a good job of not breaking this corner out. It's really easy sometimes if you get under it to just boom, blow it out and make the corner like this big blob. Okay, be honest.
Yeah.
Is this guy better at digging footings than me?
It's my paycheck. Depend on this?
No.
No, I mean, he's good. But
Okay.
I say, for you not being an operator and only using it a couple times a year, you do a good job. This is what he does for a living. He should be better at it, right?
Okay.
He's got a few tricks you need to learn.
Oh, Jones.
Oh, really?
Just a couple tricks.
Okay. They are clean. I mean, they're square, they're clean, they're straight.
Yeah, he does the bucket down, smooths it out. Nice.
Yes, that
That's a
is
good-
nice.
That's a good move. That's the move right there, Daddy.
Ooh, that's nice.
So what I'm trying to do is just kind of go behind this guy and just kind of clear the sides off, just so that we don't have a bunch of, dirt falling back in. And then like the corners, he has a hard time squaring them real well. So what I'm doing is I'm just going in and, I'm just kind of squaring up the corners to make sure that concrete has a nice, it's not rounded. Jamie hates when it's rounded. It's gotta be square and flat.
We're using our GeoMax rotary laser level, and if you don't even know what that is, I'm gonna explain basically what it does for us. It establishes an invisible, perfectly level plane that the entire house will be built upon. So this casts out a laser line as it spins, and we use the reader, which is attached to that pole, and we check the depth of the footing, and when it hits exactly where the laser line is, we stop digging. Now that's really important because obviously, like I said, it establishes the levelness of the entire structure, and this is hundreds of feet across this site, and it can do it within a degree of accuracy of probably 1/16 of an inch or even less. Without this tool, you would be sighting through like an old style scope or something, which is so inaccurate, we have found over the years. Somebody simply bumps it and it's out of level and you don't know it.
Well, most of them you have to manually level them with these little screws. And
You
this
do.
is self-leveling. You just put it down on a sort of a level base and it tips to its
That's
level.
right, and it'll actually beep and tell you if it's not level.
It'll,
If you set it on a base that is too out of level for it to autocorrect, it will let you know. One little pro tip here for some things that we like to do, makes it easier, is we use the level down low so that the laser line itself is not hitting us in the eyeballs, because that's not good. And we like to keep the reader on the stick down low too, because any leaning of the stick will actually make your measurement inaccurate. So the taller it is on the stick, the more that comes into play, and the lower it is, the less effect.
Max has got our Weber rebar cutter here, and this thing weighs about like 40 pounds, but it's electric and it'll just pinch down and break the steel instead of using our manual steel brake, which just to put it frankly sucks to do it that way. So we're gonna start busting some grade stake length material off of this. I think we'll do 24-inch pieces, and they'll go in the ground a foot and be sticking up about a foot.
Here, you be the paint guy. Don't paint my tape.
All right.
I'm serious.
4 foot. Well, Max showed up on the right job because that was awesome. I cannot believe we hadn't had one of those before.
I know, this is like the first job we've used this thing on for the whole job, and it is ridiculous how easy that is and how hard it is to do it the way we used to do it, which is either the big thing with the cutter on it, the manual cutter, or a grinder with a disc. I don't know how many discs we've burned up over the years cutting rebar and sitting there in the sparks, and I literally caught everything on fire at the last job.
That was ridiculous. As well as cutting these grade stakes, we're also gonna make some J-bars, which will sit in the concrete footing and then go up into the rebar mesh that's inside the concrete wall. And to do that, we're just using our old school, use your muscles metal bender right here. You ever use one of these?
Never.
I think you should try it about 50 times. For us. So I did order an electric version of a bender like that cutter, but I don't have it yet. So that's not bending 90, and we have the little adjustable thickness lobe adjusted as tight as you can get it and still get the piece of rebar in there.
Yeah.
So that kind of stinks too, but it does
Not gonna do it.
No, it does have a feature where you can then set it back in here to this upper part and just give it a little extra tweak and just eyeball it. 90.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Can we use these aluminum balusters as grade pegs? We're sitting here cutting these, and Jono's like, we got a bunch of 2-foot pegs sitting here. Okay. Boom. Good job. We just did the math here on how many of these J-bars we need. 16 on center, 165 of them. So.
I'm on dig crew, bro. You guys are on steel crew. Are you kidding me?
No. 165.
Do they come bent like that?
No, we're cutting them and bending them. We're to the point we can start setting some grade stakes. And I just had this brilliant idea, I think. We have 2 of these Geomax readers because we have 2 of those lasers. And I just set this one up 1 foot higher than this one so that our stakes will stick out of the ground 1 foot. And we're gonna run both readers at once. So Max is reading the reader here. It says go down another 7/16. And then Jono's guesstimating. Okay, we've got about 6 or 8 of these grade stakes put in the ground at what it should have been a foot based on our reader settings. I'm gonna check them and get an average and see if we wanna change our reader before we do all of them, because to me it looks like that's more than a foot of concrete on most of them. So let's check it out. Got 14, 13, 14. To make the stakes 2 inches lower, we'd actually raise it to. So we'd go to 4 foot and redo the ones we just did. Brock's here, and we think he's trying to make this crazy road up the bank right now for his dozer.
You're the first person that's ever built a road instead of making us move our trucks.
That's what I specialize in, road building.
He really thought it'd be easier to build a road than make us move our trucks.
I think it was.
Much quicker.
It was quicker. That's crazy.
Oh, it's 2.5. Yep. It's over 2K. I'm surprised.
Now what are you gonna do with that information?
I don't know. I just know. I believe it or not, this is gonna sound stupid, but I actually like to train my ear to hear certain frequencies so that when I hear it when I'm doing sound, I actually can identify it without having to use a tool.
Yeah.
You know, a meter. I'm sure I'm gonna hear that beeping right there for the next like 4 days. So I'll have that sound ingrained in my brain. Well, the footings are almost all dug out now, and we've got piles of dirt everywhere. Now that's great because we're getting a lot of work done. And actually I'm super glad Brock and his buddy here are working on the machines because they're super like efficient at operating the machines. Fun to watch actually, somebody that's really good at it. It's like watching somebody ice skating, you know, that's really good. Watching him dance around on that skid steer. He's doing spins. He's doing spins. He's got the bucket up.
All right, reel it in here. What are you?
What are we talking about? All right, well, all right. We're trying to get all the dirt removed off of this flat area and stockpiled. We do need the dirt to backfill against the basement once it's built. But I would like to pull my string lines back across the open footing ditch so that I can see that they're all straight with the string line, to see that the concrete walls are gonna fall centered on the footing.
Yeah.
And right now is the best time because there's no steel in the footings like rebar. And every other step that we do to advance progress here is gonna make more work for us if we have to undo it, right? So trying to keep the order of operations by double checking our work and not redoing things that don't need to be redone.
Yeah. He's ticked because he's chopping rock with an axe right now, and you're the new guy and you're running the stick.
That's what he gets for having all them muscles, I think.
Yeah.
I say yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Jono said that's what you get for having all the muscles.
Whatever, dude.
They're just for show, bro.
Hey, you can just leave it. Jason will get it. Max has been beating on this piece of rebar in the rock for probably like 5 minutes. What do you think?
Yeah, close to it.
What we didn't tell you right away was we can just cut that with a grinder. So just make a mark on it and just cut it off. All right, Max says he can hit it in another inch. Never mind.
Bop.
We've got some of these string lines pulled back now, and it's a good thing we did this. Good thinking. Because even on this one little run here, you can see the string line is the wall is not going to be centered on the footing. The wall is going to be on the right side of that line right there, and that would have been bad.
Just so people know, the string is not supposed to appear to be centered on the footing.
Yes.
That's not the goal. It's only 7 inches from the edge of the footing, and then the wall itself will be centered. Where there is a wall,
Yes.
there's not a wall everywhere.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a shovel and take about 6 inches off right in here, just so that we have that extra footing on the outside of our wall there. We got another spot here where the wall is gonna be 10 inches and it's getting a little close on this end to about the middle. So I'm gonna shave a few inches here. And on a smaller house where it's just like one square, sometimes you could just tilt the final layout on the footings to kind of account for some of this. But this has so many corners that there's no way that could happen. You'd throw it off somewhere else. So we just got to make sure every single run is like perfect on this one. That little shovel is perfect.
I like it.
Ray, you think he's stupid or what? Oh, me too.
I don't know what's stupider. One, that they're all the way up, or two, the design. What
These
is
are
it?
my Christmas dog socks Stephanie got for me. They're matching with your dog. The dog has little paw ones on.
You're one
It's
of those guys,
almost
huh?
June last time I was checking it. Guys got their last section of footing getting dug here, and that was a lot of digging. They did it fast. That was really fast.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was like less than 5 hours.
Not done yet.
4.5 hours. For
That corner's
400 feet of footing.
Is that how much it is?
Yeah, that's pretty fast. To get-
I want to brag or nothing, but
yeah, that's good.
Did you hear Jamie's joke about what he calls this move?
No.
The bulldozing. Bulldozing.
This is the only section of footing that we could not get out with the excavator. So we're gonna bring our jackhammer in the morning and just jackhammer this rock out till it's all flat. Jamie and Brock are up there in full Captain Morgan form. Must be the end of the day, is what I would say.